Shakespeare, Bread, Belief, and The Last Bite. A Life Told Through the Kitchen. Act 1. The Glover's son, William Shakespeare, was born into leather and hunger. Not metaphorical hunger, real provincial Stratford hunger. His father, John Shakespeare of Snitterfield, was a widower, a maker of soft white doeskin gloves, who rose from tenant farmer stock to marry Mary Arden, daughter of a wealthy and, crucially, devoutly Catholic landowning family. When William was baptized on 26 April 1564 at Holy Trinity, John was one of the leading citizens of Stratford upon Avon. When William was 5, John became bailiff, the town's mayor. For a brief window, the Shakespeare house on Henley Street was prosperous. The smell of curing leather from the workshop behind, the sound of customers, the sense of being middle class in a town of yeomen and wool dealers. William, the third child, but the first son to survive infancy, his 2 older sisters dead before he knew them, would have known this prosperity as his birthright. And he was given the gift that defined him, education. As the son of a corporation officer, he was entitled to free tuition at the King's New School, in the Guildhall Chapel, a quarter-mile from his door. We have no roll call, but no other school existed. He would have entered at 7. Imagine it. 6 days a week, from 6 or 7 in the morning until 5 at night, winter by candlelight. The hornbook, a paddle of wood with the alphabet under a thin sheet of horn to start. Then Lily's Latin grammar, decreed by royal authority. Then Ovid, Virgil, Cicero, Terence, Plautus. Grammar, logic, rhetoric. The boys were beaten for speaking English. They memorized thousands of lines. They acted Latin comedies. This is why Hamlet quotes Ovid. This is why his plays contain more than 20,000 words of Latin-inflected English. Ben Jonson would later sneer that Shakespeare had small Latin and less Greek. But Jonson was a university man. For a Stratford grammar boy, Shakespeare's Latin was astonishing. Then the world turned. In 1577, when William was 13, John Shakespeare stopped attending council meetings. He was fined for non-attendance. He was sued for debt. He mortgaged Mary's lands. The official excuse for missing church was for fear of process for debt. But in Elizabethan England, that phrase was also a well-known cloak for Catholic recusancy, refusing to attend the Protestant state church. The Ardens were known recusants, whether it was money or faith or both. The fall was precipitous. In that crowded, anxious house at 18, William made a hasty, erotic, practical mistake. He married Anne Hathaway of Shottery, 26 years old, 8 years his senior. She was pregnant. The marriage bond was rushed through. In November 1582, Susanna was baptized. In May 1583, only 5 months later. Then in February 1585, twins, Hamnet and Judith. For 7 years after that, 1585 to 1592, William Shakespeare disappears from history. No document mentions him. We call them the lost years. Did he become a schoolmaster, a soldier, a Catholic tutor in Lancashire, a butcher's apprentice who, as John Aubrey later claimed, would make a speech when he killed a calf? We don't know. What we know is hunger pushes men to London. By 1592, he is in London, attacked by Robert Greene as an upstart crow, beautified with our feathers. He is an actor and a playwright, and he is hungry in a different way. Act 2, what he believed, the secret heart. There is no more dangerous question in Shakespeare studies than religion. Elizabethan England was a surveillance state built on faith. To be outwardly Catholic in 1570, the year William turned 6, was to be a potential traitor. Pope Pius V had declared that it would be meritorious to assassinate Queen Elizabeth. Priests trained in Douai were smuggled into England in barrels, hunted, racked, and disemboweled at Tyburn. To attend Mass was to risk death. We have no statement of personal faith from Shakespeare. None. His will, dated 25 March 1616, begins with the formulaic Protestant preamble. In the name of God, Amen. I, William Shakespeare, in perfect health and memory, God be praised. I commend my soul into the hands of God, my Creator, hoping and assuredly believing, through the only merits of Jesus Christ, my Savior, to be made partaker of life everlasting. A.L. Rose read that as conclusive proof of conforming Protestantism, but modern scholarship knows preambles were written by liars and were boilerplate. As Jonathan Bate writes, the only poems written in his own voice were the sonnets. The I who speaks a poem is not synonymous with the person who writes the line. The Catholic case, circumstantial but weighty, is this. His mother, Mary Arden, belonged to one of Warwickshire's most stubborn recusant families. In 1757, a bricklayer found in the rafters of Henley Street a 14-page document signed by John Shakespeare, a spiritual testament declaring his Catholic faith. The original is now lost, but it was authenticated by the scholar Edmund Malone. His father was prosecuted for recusancy. His daughter Susanna was in 1606 listed among those in Stratford who failed to attend Easter Communion, a recusant marker. His teacher Simon Hunt at King's New School became a Jesuit. His patron, the Earl of Southampton, was Catholic. His plays are obsessed with theological fault lines. Hamlet comes home from the Protestant University of Wittenberg because a ghost has come from Catholic Purgatory, which Protestants said did not exist. The play asks, is the ghost a devil in disguise, as Protestant theology said, or a true suffering soul needing prayers, as Catholics believed? Shakespeare refuses to answer. He lets both be true. Perhaps that is the belief. Not Catholic, not Protestant, third thing, a secular humanist who saw that the job of theater was not to preach, but to hold both sides in terrible human balance. As one critic put it, unmasking his personal faith is an unfeasible task, and that failure is the most revealing thing about him. He conformed outwardly, as you had to live, to buy a new place, to be buried inside the church. Inwardly, he built a space where everyone could be heard. Act 3, Myths, Taboos, and the Scottish play. The myths about Shakespeare tell us more about us than him. The myths about him, that he didn't write the plays, that it was Bacon, Marlowe, the Earl of Oxford, or Queen Elizabeth herself, is pure snobbery. The Folger Shakespeare Library calls it classicism. The refusal to believe a grammar school Glover's son could be a genius, that he was uneducated or highly educated. He was perfectly educated for his class, that he invented 1,700 words single-handedly. He popularized, but many were already in use, that the globe was round. It was polygonal. The myths inside him. Elizabethan England believed 23 kinds of supernatural fact as literal truth, from fairies to demonology to weather lore. Shakespeare collected them. In Folklore of Shakespeare, T.F. Thistleton Dyer catalogues devils who could assume any shape, screech owls who were witches sucking infant blood, ghosts who walked because they had been denied burial rites. He demonized fairies after the Reformation had turned them from folk spirits into Protestant demons, a point King James himself made in his demonology, and he left us one living taboo. Never say Macbeth in a theater. Call it the Scottish play, the play about witches cursed itself. Actors still go outside, spin around 3 times, and spit after someone says it. That curse is the only piece of Elizabethan folklore still obeyed nightly on Broadway. Act 4, What Shakespeare Ate, the Elizabethan table. If you sat at Shakespeare's table, you would be confused and slightly sick. The Elizabethan worldview believed in humors and degrees. What you ate revealed who you were. The rich ate meat and white wheaten bread. The poor ate dark rye bread and pottage. Water was thought to cause disease. Everyone, even children, drank ale. The rich drank wine. The flavor profile was not ours. It was medieval modern. Sugar in everything, including meat. Honey poured over beef. Wine cups half full of sugar. Every dish highly seasoned, highly sweetened, and spiced to what we should call a nauseating point. As one Victorian account of a mermaid tavern dinner describes: stewed rabbit, roast capon, salmon stuck with cloves, boiled beef, ale, white sack, and claret. Cooked vegetables were despised by meat eaters as peasant food. Potatoes, now the staple of England, were an exotic aphrodisiac. Tomatoes were thought poisonous. In the plays, food is sex, status, and death. Falstaff lives for capon and sack. In Merry Wives of Windsor, he cries. Let the sky rain potatoes, because Spanish sweet potatoes, preserved in sugar and rosewater, were a luxury lust drug. Sir Andrew Eggcheek loves beef. The starving beggars in Lear beg for a crust. Here are the dishes he would have actually known, with original sources and modern working versions, recipes that define him. 1. The poor man's pottage, the daily bread of Stratford. Historical, the staple for 80% of England, a never-ending pot of oats, beans, and whatever greens were to hand. In winter, salted pork. Modern adaptation makes 6. 2 tablespoon butter or lard. 1 large onion, chopped. 2 leeks, white part sliced. 2 carrots diced. 2 stalk celery diced. 150 grams dried yellow peas or split peas, soaked overnight. 100 grams rolled oats or barley. 1 small Savoy cabbage, shredded. 1.5 liters chicken or vegetable stock. Handful of parsley, chopped. Salt, pepper, pinch of mace. Method: melt butter, sweat onion, and leeks 8 minutes. Add carrots, celery, drained peas, oats. Cover with stock. Simmer 45 minutes. Add cabbage for last 15 minutes. It should be thick enough to stand a spoon in. Finish with parsley and mace. Serve with dark rye bread. This is what Anne Hathaway made every day. 2. Roast capon with honey and cloves. Falstaff's favorite. Historical. A capon is a castrated rooster, fattier and more tender than chicken. The Mermaid Tavern served a roast capon. Honey and cloves were the period sweet savory signature. 1 large chicken or capon, if you can source. 1.8 kilograms. Whole cloves, about 15. 3 tablespoon honey. 100 milliliters verjuice or white wine. 1 teaspoon salt. Half teaspoon ground black pepper. Half teaspoon powdered ginger. 50 grams butter, softened. Method: heat, oven to 200 degrees Celsius. Stud the bird with cloves. Push them into the skin, like Shakespeare's salmon stuck with cloves. Mix butter with salt, pepper, ginger. Rub all over. Roast 1 hour 15 minutes. Mix honey with verjuice or wine. Baste every 20 minutes for last 40 minutes until lacquered. Rest 15 minutes. Carve and spoon juices over. 3. Marchpane marzipan, the Elizabethan showstopper. Historical. Appears in Romeo and Juliet. Almond paste, sugar, rosewater molded into castles, fruits, or coats of arms. A status symbol. 250 grams ground almonds. 150 grams icing sugar, plus 100 grams castor sugar. 1 egg white, lightly beaten. 2 teaspoons rosewater. A few drops almond extract. Method: sieve sugars. Mix with almonds. Add egg white and rosewater to form a pliable dough. Knead 2 minutes. Roll between baking paper to 1 centimeter thick. Cut into shapes or mold into small fruits. Dry at room temperature 24 hours. Then gild with edible gold leaf if you want to be truly Tudor. 4. Gooseberry fool. Historical, a Tudor pudding. Fool from French fowler, to crush. Gooseberries were plentiful in Stratford gardens. 500 grams gooseberries, topped and tailed. 100 grams castor sugar. 300 milliliters double cream. 1 tablespoon rose water or elderflower cordial. Method: stew gooseberries with sugar and 2 tablespoons water until collapsed. 10 minutes. Cool completely. Whip cream to soft peaks. Fold in 3/4 of the puree. Ripple in rest. Chill. Serve in small pots. Sweet tart, exactly the balance Shakespeare loved. 5. Shrewsbury cakes. Very good cakes indeed. Historical, short, crisp biscuits from Shropshire, near Stratford. Mentioned in plays as a delicacy. 200 grams plain flour. 100 grams butter. 100 grams castor sugar. 1 egg yolk. Zest of 1 lemon. Pinch of rose water. Pinch of caraway seeds, optional but authentic. Method: cream butter and sugar. Add yolk, zest, rose water. Fold in flour and caraway. Bring to dough. Chill 30 minutes. Roll thin, 5 millimeters. Cut into rounds. Bake 170 degrees Celsius for 12 to 14 minutes until pale gold. They keep for weeks in a tin. Perfect actors' travel food. 6. The courage tart. Falstaff's potato aphrodisiac. Historical reconstruction from Thomas Dawson's The Good Housewife's Jewel, 1596. A tart that is a courage to a man or woman. Sweet potatoes, quinces, sugar, spices, and sparrow brains. We omit the brains. For pastry, 250 grams flour, 125 grams butter, 1 egg. Filling: 300 grams sweet potatoes, roasted and mashed. 2 quinces or pears poached in sugar and chopped. 80 grams sugar. 1 teaspoon cinnamon. ½ teaspoon ginger. Pinch saffron soaked in 1 tablespoon rose water. 3 egg yolks. 100 milliliters cream. Method: make pastry. Blind bake 15 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. Mix filling ingredients. Pour into shell. Bake 30 to 35 minutes until set. This is what Falstaff meant by "let the sky rain potatoes." Sugar, rose water, exotic root, pure lust in a crust. 7. Sack posset, the last drink. Historical, the drink of the sickbed and the lover. Half food, half drink. Lady Macbeth uses a posset to drug the grooms. It may have been Shakespeare's last nourishment. 500 milliliters whole milk. 200 milliliters double cream. 120 milliliters sack dry sherry or sweet Madeira. 60 grams sugar. ½ teaspoon grated nutmeg. Strip of lemon peel. Method: warm milk, cream, sugar, nutmeg, and lemon peel until steaming, not boiling. Remove peel. Put sack in a large jug. Pour hot milk from a height into sack in one go. It will curdle and separate into curd and whey. That is correct. Spoon into small cups. Grate more nutmeg. Drink warm. It is nourishing, alcoholic, and soothing. Tudor Nye Quill. Act 5. The Last Meal. On March 25, 1616, Shakespeare signed his will with a shaky signature. He was, by the custom of the time, acutely aware he was dying. What killed him? The parish register says he was buried on April 25. No cause. John Ward, vicar of Holy Trinity 50 years later, wrote, Shakespeare, Drayton, and Ben Jonson had a merry meeting, and it seems drank too hard, for Shakespeare died of a fever there contracted. It is a wonderful story. Jonson walking 90 miles from London. The three greatest writers of England drinking, sack in new place. But fever is not what kills you from alcohol. At that moment, Stratford had an outbreak of typhus, the new fever, contracted through dirty water and poor sanitation. Typhoid through unclean liquids is plausible. More likely, modern doctors suggest, was an acute cerebral hemorrhage, a stroke, or a heart attack, or cumulative mercury, poisoning from treatment for syphilis. Common then. There is the silence that hurts most. John Hall, his son-in-law, was the best physician in the Midlands. His case books were published later. He describes curing Susanna in detail. He writes nothing about his father-in-law. Why? We will never know the last meal. No inventory mentions it, but we can imagine it. If Ward is right, the last meal was convivial. Roast beef, capon, cloves, claret, and sack at New Place with Jonson and Drayton. Laughter, then a fever by morning. If Hall is our guide, the last meal was a posset, taken in a darkened bedroom in New Place, April 1616, with Anne, Susanna, and Judith nearby. White, warm, spiced, barely food. He who had fed the world with words ended with a spoonful of sweetened curds. He was buried 2 days later with his curse, still legible, still working. To this day, no one has moved his bones, and that is the final taboo he left us. Do not disturb the poet.